I'm David Tuffnell. I'm a freelance writer, director and producer. I've had quite a long history in terms of performing arts in the region, but also outside of the region. So originally trained as an actor, starting in 2000 at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. Graduated from there and then was an actor for a good 8 years. Relocated back to Middlesbrough in 2009, set up a theatre company with a friend, Laura Lonsdale, which we still run to this day. And then slowly over the course of that kind of transformed and altered from being kind of an actor into other facets, like directing and writing and naturally producing, and then also actually career-wise worked quite a bit at Middlesbrough Theatre, Middlesbrough Town Hall, but then also was Arts Development Officer for Middlesbrough Council up until the end of last month.
Sorry, lockdown project. Hi. In the middle of an interview. Fine. Hi, Ingtons. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
It's a lockdown project. It's going to happen. Kids are self-isolating.
It's life. Yeah.
I'm working through the homeschooling. It's been quite a journey. So that's a hell of a lot of stuff you've been up to there.
Yeah.
You must be quite driven. Was this always like a passion from when you were a kid?
No, actually, I'm a real late bloomer into the arts. I didn't step on stage until I was 18. And that was just by chance. Someone dropped out of a Christmas show. Actually, it was a Christmas carol, and a friend that I was at college with at the time went, "Oh, you wouldn't mind like learning some lines and singing and maybe a bit of dancing?" And I was like, "Well, I've never done it, but why not?" And yes, I didn't start till I was 18, and then kind of over the course of those next 2 to 4 years, did loads and loads of local amateur shows, and then just applied for drama school and went straight off.
Great. So, which bits of it do you like best? Do you like sort of like stepping back, and how possessive are you of like your work?
It's weird because I was thinking about it just actually. The last year, I've had a few conversations with people that I've worked with quite a bit about what I'm doing and the things that I take from it. And I think, to be honest, I just like being in a room with people. Like, I enjoy that process of seeing people transform or evolve or grow or understand, or all of those kind of words where people themselves, something clicks and they suddenly understand what you were trying to get at, or they unlock something that they were trying to get to but they didn't quite know how to get there, and being part of that process of helping them do that, I love that. So I went back to teaching kids at the moment as well, because I find that really beneficial, to be honest, in my own practice, because sometimes if you can get a whole group of kids to understand and love and appreciate what you're saying, then that translates quite easily to other people. But if they all just look at you and go, "What?" then you go, "No, let's not do that again then."
Brilliant. So what kind of age group are you working with?
So kind of 11 to 18, 20s. It's just for a couple of hours, but like I say, I think I actually find quite a lot of confidence in teaching children, because they're really, really honest with you. And if they like what you're doing, they'll tell you. And if they don't, they'll also tell you. And it's a really good measuring stick. Whereas I think sometimes with adults, they're busy thinking about all of these other things and should they be a bit more careful. And so it's a far more honest relationship you can have with kids, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I really agree there. I mean, I've not worked with many groups, but like last year I was working with a bunch of LGBTQ plus kids in Hartlepool, and it was very apparent when I was hitting the mark and when I wasn't.
Yes.
But they produce absolutely phenomenal work, and blew everyone away at the it was part of the Holocaust Memorial Day celebrations or commiserations. I don't know what you call them, but part of that remembrance. And yeah, they brought many tears to people's eyes, and they had a huddle of people around them afterwards. So it was lovely to see that they had such a positive impact.
Great.
So you've kind of touched on it there about what, apart from having a performance or a play or a book or whatever, the fact of engaging in the arts itself and the impact that can have on people. And I wonder what kind of groups do you work with, and how do you find people? I mean, obviously in schools you've just got a set kids, but outside of that environment, how do you connect? How do you get people on board? How do you reach out to people that maybe don't know that they're interested?
To be honest, a multitude of ways. So I always try and so in terms of our theatre company, Less is More, it's always open audition processes. In fact, I think we've only ever done 2 shows where we haven't. And the only reason being the deadline's been quite tight with them, shall we say. So there was a very quick necessity to get that up and running fast. I think, so I'm always constantly meeting lots of actors, actresses, people at different points of their career. So kind of through that process is that conversation. But then also in terms of the stuff that I did with the council in terms of arts development, a lot of that work is led by community groups and making relationships with community groups and kind of running things for them. So I've always been very fortunate that kind of I've been involved in lots of different things that connect me with lots of different people from lots of different backgrounds. And I remember, I think it was about a year ago, a lady came over. She was kind of looking around the different projects that we had in Middlesbrough, and she was like, "Oh, how do you find it so easy to talk to people?" Because she was talking a lot about her heritage and her history, and she was saying, we have this respect for older people, which means that kind of chatting with them becomes quite tricky because there's like this reverential experience. And it's something that I heard, and I don't know why it just lodges in my brain, but someone had said, and it's terrible, but someone had said the best way to travel the world is just to listen. And I was like, being a person who never really traveled the world, that stuck with me. And so I was saying to this lady, the reason that I have no qualms talking to these people is actually generally most of the time, all I'm doing is listening. And then everything they tell me about their experience, the next time someone else talks to me about something similar, I've got a little bit of shared experience from what I've heard from someone else. And so I'm just constantly absorbing conversations, really, I think. And that's when I think people are really good at working with different communities and groups, because all they're doing ever is just listening to them.
Yep, absolutely. I trained as a level 3 community organizer last year, and it's all about that. It's all about active listening, not just kind of nodding along, like, really focusing on what people are saying. And yeah, for me, it was really, really good to learn how to shut up and listen. Really.
I was about to say, don't worry, I'm the same. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God. And I have to stop myself from wanting to talk because I'm like, yes, oh. And then I'm just like, no, just keep quiet and listen.
Absolutely. So I guess we're going to have to come to the lockdown question. How's it impacted your work, and are you laying any plans, or are you just waiting to see how things go?
It's really strange because I thought I wasn't doing anything. To be truthful, I thought it was just like working and passing time, and then kind of as you start to reflect on things, you realise that you've probably been doing quite a bit, I think. So earlier on in the year, with my theatre company, we did a part of an online festival for Gala Durham, where we commissioned, I think it was about 11 actors and 5 writers to produce kind of these very small monologues inspired by songs. I then wrote a couple of other monologues for other production companies that were all like filmed as part of graduate showcases. And then kind of probably about June time, I took it upon myself that I thought, oh, I could write a kid's Christmas book. That would be fun. So did that and kind of commissioned a illustrator to do some work for me there. And then kind of around the same time suddenly thought, well, what do I want to do next? And so actually I took redundancy from the council and went back to do my MA in playwriting at York. So that's what I'm currently in the process of doing, just because I wanted to refine what I was already doing, but also I wanted some new conversation in my life, some new ideas, some new input. And that's been great because we've kind of got an international cohort. So there's people from China, from Poland. So just hearing like their experience and chatting about theatre with a whole different conversation surrounding it has been really beneficial.
Terrific. Well, that's great. Really positive to hear all that. Quite jealous on the MA front. I'd go back and do my MA all over again if I could. I'm not quite ready to do a PhD, but I'd do the MA again. It really was fantastic. It's been lovely to finally talk to you, David.
Yeah, you too.
I'm really glad that you seem in a really good space, and doing all the things that you do, and I guess you're kind of doing another listening project with this MA with all the people that you have to talk to there.
Oh, completely, yeah.
And I can't wait to hear the results of it. So do let me know what you're up to, and
Yes.
hopefully I'll see you out in the real world pretty soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, take care.
You too.